Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here, and we are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Monday, October 3rd slate of NFL action. I'm super excited to dive into it. Monday Night Football is always a super exciting time here in the NFL. Man, I'm super excited, especially for us bettors. There's nothing better than some primetime football action. But before we go ahead and dive into the plays that I do really like as of today, first I did just want to go ahead and say we are still currently on the road to 7,000 subscribers. If we end up actually hitting that by the time that the NBA season does officially start, we will be doing a giveaway here on the channel. It'll be a pretty big one, so make sure that you guys are subbed. You definitely don't want to miss out on that, so make sure that if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. So, without any further ado, I don't want to waste a whole lot of time. We ended up having a pretty good day overall on Sunday. We ended up going 3-1 on our plays. We'll talk about those in just a minute. But before we do a full recap, just a quick word here from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by PrizePicks. If you guys don't currently have a sports book that you do use, or if you do have one and you're just looking for something new, PrizePicks is a great way to get started. As you guys can see here on the screen, we are able to bet on pretty much every single sport that you can think of. We have MLB, we have the NFL, as of right now is the preseason, we have college football, we even have things like CSGO and some esports as well. And obviously, as you guys know, I'm a huge NBA guy, so once the NBA season does come around, you guys will be able to bet on player props from there as well. PrizePicks is very, very easy to use. I do love the no-run first innings, and that is something that you can go ahead and bet on here on PrizePicks as well. It's an absolutely fantastic app and website as well. So if you guys haven't already signed up for PrizePicks, make sure that you guys do that and use code KingSanders, and you can go ahead and get a deposit match bonus of up to $100. So the way that it does work is you go ahead and pick a couple here. So I'm just going to, for the sake of the video, say that the White Sox and the Orioles tomorrow are going to have a no-run first inning. The Toronto and Boston and the Cincinnati and Philadelphia are all going to have no-run first inning. Basically what I would do, I would go ahead and click less for all of these and do what is called a power play, which is basically the same as a parlay. All three legs do have to hit in order for the bet to actually cash out. On the flip side of things, you can also do a flex play. The flex play basically means if you do get one of the legs wrong, that's perfectly fine. You can still win some money. So PrizePicks is a great way to be able to win some money using player props and things of that nature to be able to win some money. So you can put together a bunch of different legs to win out some pretty big money. So once again, make sure you guys do use code KingSanders for whenever you do sign up. You will get a deposit match bonus of up to $100. And once again, thank you so much, PrizePicks, for sponsoring today's video. So yes, like I said, we ended up having a pretty good day overall. We ended up going 3-1 on our plays. We did end up having the Raiders -2.5 versus the Broncos at -110. That one ended up working out for us. The Raiders were just way too good of an offense and way too good of a team just in general to start out the year 0-4. There's no way. I don't think there's any way that the Raiders could have started off 0-4. So they ended up getting it done for us. Then we had the Eagles and the Jags over 45.5. This one at the beginning, after the first half, I thought it was no sweat. They had like 35 points at halftime, but they ended up barely just hitting the over. So luckily for us, it ended up working out. Both teams started out red hot out of the gates, and then both defenses stepped up in the second half. But it ended up working out. Thank the Lord. But then we did end up having Keelan Cole under 22.5 receiving yards versus Denver, that -115. He had as many receiving yards as me and you sitting here watching the game. So it ended up working out for us for sure. This line definitely shouldn't have been that high. I knew with all the weapons on that Raiders offense, they were not going to be looking at a guy like Keelan Cole against such a good team, against such a good defense as Denver. So that one ended up working out for us. The only play that we did end up missing was the Lions -3 versus the Seahawks. The smart play was the over. There was so many points scored in that game, and both defenses looked trash. They looked absolutely terrible. Both defenses were so incredibly bad, but the Lions unfortunately did end up losing outright. They actually had a chance. I think it was like 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. They had the ball. They were down by, I think it was 4. So if they end up scoring that touchdown, puts them up by exactly 3, we could have got a push, or maybe, who really knows at the end of the day. They could have maybe even went for 2, put it out of reach of a field goal game, but, I don't really know. Anything could have happened, but unfortunately they didn't end up getting that first down, and it kind of costed them. So we ended up going 3-1 though. Profit is profit, starting off October on the right foot. So hopefully we can go ahead and knock out these Monday Night Football games, Monday Night Football plays as well. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. So our first play of the day, we're taking the under in the Rams and the 49ers here, under 42.5 at minus 110 odds. I really like this play just mostly for the fact that if you look at it, the line moved from 47.5 all the way down to 42.5. They have to know something. The books have to know something. Regardless of how much money is on one side, they never move the line this much unless if there is just something that is just underneath. They're begging you to take the over here. And that's why I'm kind of taking the under. Anytime that the line moves that much, there's just something that has to be going on. And both these defenses are actually very, very solid defenses. The 49ers actually have looked like a very solid defense overall. And believe it or not, the Rams, despite having quite a good number of injuries, they've still actually been a really solid defense. So hopefully they can go ahead. Both these defenses can kind of hold down the forts and end up not really scoring a whole lot of points. And truthfully, both offenses, really haven't looked great. I mean, if you take a look at some of the wins that both these teams did end up having, it's not like they were really blowing out teams. So Rams, I remember in week 1 versus a good defense like the Bills, they ended up getting almost like skunked. They had a really rough game. So hopefully we can see some more of that from the Rams. And the 49ers, with them recently switching over quarterbacks back over to Jimmy G, Trey Lance being out, I know that there's going to be a lot more passes with a guy like Jimmy G, and George Kittle is, of course, back now, but I just don't really love it. I think that the under is still going to be a very good play versus, between these two teams. Both offenses haven't really impressed me too much. Both defenses have been pretty solid, so I really do like this play, especially with all that line movement. So that's going to be our first play of the day. The Rams and the 49ers under 42.5 at minus 110 odds. Now for our second play of the day, we're taking Juwan Jennings under 16 receiving yards at minus 115 odds. Now, I like this play for a lot of different reasons. The first one is going to be, if you take a look at his recent game log, in the first game of the season, he went absolutely ballistic. He had 62 receiving yards here in week 1 versus my terrible Chicago Bears. He went absolutely crazy. But if you guys remember from that game, there was so much rain. It was such a gross game. It was definitely not one that was really pass friendly. So the fact that he did get like 6 receptions in that game, it was just a weird game overall. But if you take a look at it in week 2, Juwan Jennings only had 4 yards versus the Seahawks, which Seahawks have actually, their defense has been okay. Obviously terrible yesterday versus the Lions, but overall, Seahawks defense hasn't really been that great, and he only saw 4 receiving yards. And week 3 versus Denver, in Jimmy G's first start here with the 49ers, he only saw 2 targets for 5 yards. So it's not like Jimmy G is going to be taking a lot of attempts here for a guy like Juwan Jennings. Obviously, George Kittle is back, so I think that with George Kittle being back, he is going to be kind of the main focus of this offense. He's going to be getting a lot of those targets, especially from a guy like Jimmy G, who he already has chemistry with. So I just think this is a bad spot here for Juwan Jennings. I feel like he's going to be similar to the Keelan Cole situation yesterday. I feel like Juwan Jennings is not going to really get a whole lot of targets. So that's why we're kind of going to be taking a shot here on the under. Obviously, he could go deep for one and then this over smacks. But I just think that this is a really good spot to take the under. So we're going to be riding with it for our second play of the day. Juwan Jennings under 16 receiving yards at minus 115 odds. Now, I felt like we had to take a side. I felt like we had to. So we're going with the Rams plus 1.5 here versus the 49ers. I know. This seems like an ultimate trap. The Rams have so many injuries, so many injury concerns, but they're still a very solid team overall. And I'm just riding with it because the Rams, the last time that I did end up taking them, they treated us really nicely. So hopefully they can treat us nicely once again. The 49ers with Jimmy G, maybe it might still take just a little bit of time for the new offense to kind of gel. I know it's similar to the old one, but still, I feel like this is going to be a very defensive game, and I feel like just one team is going to come out on top. And, you know, I feel like it's going to be a close one, though. I feel like the Rams can definitely take this game. So I do like it. Hopefully we can go ahead and make it a 3-0 day, bring out the shades on Thursday. So without any further ado, that is going to be our third and final play of the day. Rams plus 1.5 here versus the Niners at minus 110 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are still currently on the road to 7,000 subscribers, so make sure that if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Center signing out. Peace.